this is my review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, so Polnareff winds up walking in on Enya, who has just killed Whole Horse, apparently. I mean, it winds up playing into the episode, so it is important that you know that he is quote-unquote dead. But he walks in and she immediately fakes the fact that she fell, and Polnareff helps her get up while she hides Whole Horse under the couch using her stand. And she tries desperately to get Polnareff to leave and go back to his room, but then he continues to stay and then also pesters her about her family, which is a bit of a sore subject between the two, as Polnareff kind of killed her son. So, yeah, she gets notably more and more agitated the more he talks about family and stuff like that, and eventually she decides to just tell him the truth that her son passed away, and she kind of just got used to living alone. At which point, Polnareff decides to take care of her, and kind of pointing out that he lost his mother at a young age, and decides to kind of treat her like a surrogate mom in a way, and she can treat him like a surrogate son, which makes her very, very uncomfortable. But then the illusion is kind of shattered when Whole Horse reveals himself to not quite be dead, and crawls out from under the couch and tries to warn Polnareff about her stand, but is too late to do so, and is almost immediately attacked by Enya, who's basically been lying in wait, waiting for the perfect opportunity to attack Polnareff. And Polnareff defends himself, but then Enya reveals that she has complete control over the entire town and sicks the entire horde on Polnareff. And Polnareff runs from the entire horde, who are now completely controlled by her stand, which is revealed to have the ability to control not just individual limbs, but entire bodies and corpses. And he makes a run for it, ironically winding up in the bathroom, and he hides in there and turns the lights off so that they don't find him. But then things get too quiet, and he peeks out the keyhole to see what's going on, at which point it's revealed that one of her zombies is actually looking through the peephole and stabs him in the tongue with their tongue, and he gets his tongue controlled by Justice, and then she forces him to clean the toilet with his tongue. But then as that's happening, Jojo actually walks in looking for Polnareff, and she decides, realizing that Jojo's a little bit clever, decides to tell him the truth that he's in the bathroom. But she makes the mistake of referring to Jojo by his first name, Jotaro, at which point she immediately suspects that she's a stand user, by not only pointing out that he never told her his name, and nobody else told her his name, so she doesn't really have much of a reason to be able to call him Jotaro. At which point she brings up the ledger, but then Jotaro pulls the ledger out of his pocket and reveals that he signed it Qtaro instead of Jotaro. So her entire lie immediately spirals out of control, but then begins to question where her stand is and why she hasn't revealed it yet, at which point she reveals that she already has, and then she sicks the entire horde on him. And Jojo is able to fend off most of her zombies with Star Platinum, but he fails to notice one of the little baby ones, which managed to stab him in the leg and starts creating a hole in his leg. But Jojo, always the resourceful one, has a plan, and states that before she takes her next breath, he'll have defeated her. At which point she tries to take another breath, but realizes too late that Jojo has been using his stand, Star Platinum, to suck in her own stand inside of itself, which causes her to asphyxiate herself, and then she passes out, but isn't quite dead, as we see later in the episode. So at which point the group realizes that she is a stand user and is caught up to speed, and after making fun of Polnareff a couple dozen times, Joseph eventually makes the executive decision that they should continue to head out on their journey, and realizing that she won't tell them information willingly, decides to use Hermit Purple in the next town to try and project her thoughts onto a television. At which point they go outside and it's revealed that the entire town was an illusion created by her stand, and they've actually been hanging out in the graveyard this whole time. So, yeah, her stand is the ability to create illusions, which we saw a little bit to an extent in the last episode, but apparently it goes a bit more beyond just making Joseph almost impale himself on a fence post. Apparently, she's able to just turn an entire town into an entire town out of an illusion. And they've actually been just hanging out in a graveyard this whole time, and that she made the entire graveyard look like a town with a hotel in it. So yeah, it's clear that her stand is very powerful, and even some of the characters say so in the episode. But then as they're about to leave, they realize that Whole Horse has actually jacked their car and is taking off and riding into the sunset in their car. But before he completely takes off, he shouts back to them that they should kill her while they have the chance, as there's pointing out that there's more than one way to kill a human, and points out that they'll find out soon enough why they should kill her, and then they begin to question it, and yeah, it's gonna be a plot point for the later episode, I'm assuming, but he points out that there's apparently something about Enya that they don't know, and that they should kill her as quickly as possible because that could wind up rearing its ugly head. And I'm assuming it's not her stand, because we already know that Jojo was able to defeat her stand simply by sucking in, which is kind of the most ridiculous way to defeat a stand. But then again, he quickly realized that physical attacks wouldn't work on her stand, so he decides to just suck the whole thing into his own stand. So yeah, it's weird, but then again, it's JoJo's. It's supposed to be weird. It's supposed to not make very little sense, and that's okay. But yeah, overall, this episode sets up a plot point for the next episode, which is that they're now going to try and use Enya's mind to get information about the next stand users and where Dio is hanging out. I'm assuming that's not going to go as planned, but who knows? I mean, there's a lot of episodes left in this third season, and then there's a fourth season that's because they split this third part in half. But yeah, overall, this episode was interesting. It showed just how powerful Enya actually is and why she should be considered one heck of a threat. And I have a feeling Dio knows this, because there's a reason he made her his right hand woman, as it were, literally, because she has two right hands. But yeah, it's clear that Enya is no slouch, and that begs the question: if Dio's right hand woman is so powerful, then what does that make Dio? Because think about this for a second. We've only seen him for a couple of episodes at the beginning of the series. We only saw him for about 11, 12 episodes, and he was kind of a vampire in that time. But since then, he lost most of his body and grafted his head onto Jonathan Joestar's neck. So who knows what kind of powers he has now? He could have become crazy powerful in the time since we've seen him. So yeah, who knows how powerful he'll actually wind up being? I don't even know the answer to that question. Let me know in the comments how powerful would Dio wind up being now. But yeah, if you guys have seen this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and enjoyed it and liked my review of it, then what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, so I would definitely appreciate it if you did that. Also, I need to just, tack this on to my usual outro, but apparently some people haven't been getting my uploads, and I kind of am aware of that, so there's a reason. So, at which point I would like to bring up, ring the bell. The bell down below, if next to the subscribe button, ring it and turn on all notifications, because the way YouTube works is weird. The way their notification system is weird. So if you guys want to see everything, be sure to click the bell. I bring this up, and I bring this up here because it was literally a comment on one of my earlier episode, one of my earlier reviews. Something that some of my subscribers have actually been looking forward to, and as one of them pointed out, they wound up missing it. So yeah, ring the bell. It's important. It's important. It lets you know when everything goes up and when. So be sure to check that out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.